Right, so I was pretty excited about season 3 of The Witcher. I don't know, I probably shouldn't have been. But after the first episode, which I enjoyed quite a lot, I thought, well, maybe they're back on track. Uh, there was a part of my brain, I think, that just wanted to sort of forget season 2 and just retcon everything, kind of pretend like it didn't happen, and then maybe that would make season 3 work better. They, 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 they deal a little bit with Yennefer and her betrayal in season 2. They basically destroyed Yennefer's character in season 2. It was a total hatchet job. But she basically betrays both Geralt and Ciri. She's going to turn Ciri over to die to get her powers back, and only doesn't because she gets caught and stopped by Geralt. But then she kind of makes up for it a little bit by helping out. I don't know. Then they're all off in the beginning, they're off on the run. In the beginning of season 3, they're on the run. They're moving from house to house, being pursued by various people looking for Ciri. And Geralt and Yennefer are not speaking, but she's writing them all these letters. And I don't know. The letters are kind of nice. The problem with all of this is, in the first 5 episodes of season 3, basically, Yennefer and Geralt go from not speaking, because he's pissed at her for good reason, to once again speaking and, in fact, like hooking up again. Ciri and Yennefer are fine from the get-go. There's like no bad blood at all until later when Ciri doesn't like Aretuza and the sorceresses, which is confusing. The problem with all of this is, if you want to do a Yennefer redemption arc, fine, but you really need a lot more time to do it. They just, a few episodes is really not enough for the gravity of her sins at this point. You really need maybe an entire season, and at the very end, maybe she somehow gets back into Geralt's good graces and Ciri's good graces. It just doesn't work here. Other stuff does work. Henry Cavill is great. Really, Anya Shalatra, I can't remember how to say her name. Freya Allen. Joey Beatty, all the main actors are great. I do like the casting of the main cast, and a lot of especially Cavill carries a lot of the show, and he's just phenomenal in this. He pulls off Geralt of Rivia so perfectly. I just really feel bad for Liam Hemsworth taking over. Oh, the shoes he has to fill. Not that most people will be watching anymore, anyways. You can really see why Cavill is out. You can see why he wanted out after watching season 3, because while I think it started off pretty good with some cool fight scenes and, Yennefer kind of being more like she's supposed to be, although they still kind of butcher her by the end of the season. And Ciri I like, but I don't understand why they did such terrible makeup on her. It's so gaudy. But you can see why Cavill wanted out, because by the end of the part 1 of the season, there's 3 more episodes coming in July. It's laughably bad. The 5th episode in particular is edited and directed so poorly. I honestly can't believe it made it onto Netflix. It is genuinely the worst episode of The Witcher yet, and it's really genuinely one of the worst episodes of television outside of like Fear the Walking Dead that I've seen in a long time. It has this structure where they're at this ball, and they'll show like flash forwards to after the ball, where Geralt and Yennefer are getting jiggy with it, and they're talking, reminiscing about the ball and how well it went, and then you see like what happened at the ball, but then you see like, here's what actually happened, here's a different angle. You get more and more information as you go, and that's a perfectly fine way to structure an episode. The problem is that they edit it so poorly that you end up watching the same scene, like the exact same scenes, multiple different scenes, multiple times before you even get to where it's different. So like, instead of just like establishing, oh, we're back to this scene with a snippet of dialogue, and then moving on to the juicy bits, the new bits, they play through like minutes of the same exact dialogue that you've already seen before this is amateur hour level bad. I honestly, by the end of that episode, I couldn't believe it. I think where things in the season really got like bad for me, though, not like I had problems throughout, like when Geralt doesn't kill Rience, the fire mage, like Why? He breaks his hands. He could have just snapped his neck or run him through. It wouldn't have taken any longer. That was weird, but I was like, whatever. TV's dumb. I can forgive little things. But the scene when apparently Ciri runs away from Aretuza because she doesn't like the sorceresses who are like drunk and kind of just I didn't like those sorceresses either, but it's crazy to me that Ciri, who is being pursued like by everybody and wants to learn magic and doesn't know where Geralt is, would just leave without a word. But we don't even see her leaving. She just leaves Yennefer after a little tiny fight they have, and she's riding down this road, and there's these clouds boiling in the sky. It looks very dreamlike, and then the Wild Hunt shows up, and they're chasing her, and then Geralt shows up and like casts one of his signs, and they all run away. Just like boom, they're like not that tough apparently. The Wild Hunt is actually a bunch of pussies. But then and I'm thinking the whole time, this is a dream. This is a dream. Like she's gonna wake up from this nightmare. But no, she actually rode off, got chased by the Wild Hunt, and saved by Geralt, all without any explanation. How did he just happen to run into her right there? It's magic. It's crazy. Like what? How did she leave? It's such a confusing scene, and that's the scene for me this season where I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. I mean, there was other stuff too, like people start fast traveling. Like they start off the season good because you see them traveling up into the wintry wilds, far, far away from everything, and then they come up with this plan to get Jaskier to be part of this bait that they want to like get the Fire Mage to like be drawn out and try to get Ciri, and then they'll attack, and they're just like. They're just there. Like, they're there where Jaskier is. They just know where he is, and they're there right away, even though they're supposed to be, like, way far away. And there's no, if they had just shown us, like, a portal or something, that would be one thing, but there's no indication of how they're getting around. And this happens multiple times throughout the season. And it's weird because there's also moments where, we hear that it'll take too long to ride back to Aretuza, so they're going to take this ferry, and that sets up this whole monster scene. And I like those details, like where you establish distance and travel and time. But the problem is, of course, is that Ciri just before that, rode from Aretuza, and it couldn't have been that far or taken that long. Like, I don't know. In terms of monsters, there was one really cool one that was taken right out of Elden Ring. It was when Geralt goes to look for Rience in this castle, and there's these like 3 girls' heads like coming out of the wall, and then this body of limbs and legs and arms and like all fused together comes out and attacks him, and it felt very Elden Ring. Like if you've played that game, like there's actual like bosses and whatnot that are kind of developed in a similar way. But that was a cool monster. The other ones I didn't really find that great. Like there was the creature that hunts Ciri by her smell that kind of rolls around like an armadillo or something. And then there was the water monster, and I'm not going to try to remember the names of all these monsters, but those ones just felt super CGI-y. I don't know, like the first season of The Witcher, even though it was kind of the lowest budget, for some reason I think the monsters were the best there, and these ones are like too fake looking. Or like they're trying to not be fake looking, but they are. I liked the tree monster thing in season 2 also. That was a pretty cool one. Although I didn't like how all that went down with Eskel. But so anyways, okay. Overall, I don't know. This season felt rushed and confusing. They didn't have, they didn't establish places very well. Like I wish they would do. I think they did this in season 2, if I'm remembering correctly, where if they would go to a new place, they would often show a title card saying where you were. They do that in The Last Kingdom on Netflix all the time. No matter where you go, if you're switching locations to a new location, they'll show the name of it. And it's cool because they'll show it in like Old English, and then it'll like the words will flip and it'll show it in modern English. So you have a sense of what it was called then and what it's called now, which I thought was really cool. But all you'd need to do is like, we're in Redania now. So boom, you put Redania. We're at Aretuza now. Boom, just put a little title card in there and just show us, because there's a lot of locations and it's confusing. They don't always do a great job of establishing where they are. how much time has passed, how much distance has been traveled. The politics are interesting but muddled. Trying to figure out what's going on, there's all this scheming with like Dietrich and Philip. Oh my God, I'm having a terrible time with names right now. But there's all this scheming, right? With in Redania, with Vizimir and Radovid and all that, and they all want Ciri, presumably, I think to lay claim to Sintra. Then you have the Emperor of Nilfgaard who wants Ciri because she's his daughter, but his motivations are very opaque, and Nilfgaard's role in all of this, other than as conqueror, is very confusing. Why? There's a scene where Cahir is he brings an elf named Gallatin to Nilfgaard, and the Emperor asks him to kill him as a show of loyalty. But I still don't understand why. Like, here was an elven warrior, the leader of the Scoia'tael, who would gladly fight for the Emperor. Why would this Emperor, who's all about, like, apparently about peace, the Emperor makes no sense, is what I'm trying to say. And the show does a very bad job of helping us understand him. He's also too young. The actor's 34. He's supposed to be the father of Ciri, and Freya Allan is 21. They're 13 years difference, and it shows. I'm sorry, it does. He should be played by an actor at least 15 years older, I think. Or, I don't know, 10 years older. I hate the elves. I just hate how the elves are portrayed. I think they're just portrayed as humans with pointy ears. They don't seem different than humans at all. They talk bad. Humans are bad. That's what the elves say, and the humans say that elves are bad. But we don't get a sense of these distinct cultures and honestly appearances. Like, the elves should look more elf-like. They should be more beautiful and angular and tall, and all the things that make them distinct that maybe the humans would be jealous of. Same thing. I'm going to say this about the sorceresses too. They're supposed to be drop dead gorgeous, the most beautiful women you've ever seen. They're often taken as children who are not, who have some deformity, like Yennefer was a hunchback, all her jaw was all fucked up, and the promise of magic motivates them because they can become, through this transformation, when they become a full-fledged sorceress, they can become beautiful, and that beauty is used as a tool, as a weapon, even a tool of manipulation, because these sorceresses are sent out to the kings of the northern kingdoms and are advisors, and they have also, the Brotherhood's interests in mind. So they are beautiful in order to hold more sway. They're intelligent, beautiful, powerful women, but that beauty is part of that. And I just feel like they've decided that they're going to go with a much different, all bodies are beautiful or whatever approach to the sorceresses, just to like push this stupid fucking modern agenda that we have to deal with these days. I'm not saying that women who don't fit those standards of beauty aren't beautiful. There are lots of different ways to be beautiful, but there is a specific way that the sorceresses are supposed to be beautiful, and some of them are. Yennefer's gorgeous. Some of them are gorgeous, and I just think it's strange. It's strange how many ways this show has abandoned kind of any sort of commitment to an aesthetic, to a geographical realities. I'm all for some diversity, but just like, can we just have a little bit of consistency? And I don't know. Like, I guess it's just a stylistic approach, and maybe I should just deal with it. But I don't know. I just feel like this show is sloppy, cheap, rushed, poorly written. And it has just the strength of a few cast members on its side at this point. And a few good moments, a few diamonds in the rough, keeping it afloat. But yeah, I can see why Cavill's out. I don't see the last 3 episodes redeeming this season at all, ending so poorly in episode 5. It was supposed to be this big, like, shocking twist. But, I mean, I'm sorry, Vilgefortz has been a bad guy since season 1. We knew when he killed that mage who had killed all those Nilfgaardian soldiers that he was a bad guy. There's no surprise that he's the guy that's manipulating, or that's the puppet master behind the scenes. When he gave when he gave Thais's from Yellow Jackets, when he gave her that bracelet, and then they like showed the bracelet, and then they showed the bracelet again, and then they found the bracelet, and then they talked about the bracelet. It's like, guys, could you just telegraph that this is the bad guy a little harder? It's like that song that horrible troupe of musicians was playing at the ball, where they're like, "This is not as it seems," over and over and over again. No shit, it's not as it seems. Could you smash that into my head with a slightly larger hammer, please? I really wanted this to be a good season because it's Cavill's last season, and I was really hopeful that, they would go out on a high note, that it would be awesome, and that we'd all be sad because it was so good, and we're going to miss Cavill so much. But really, as it stands, I'm just kind of like, well, it's probably good that he's getting out, and I might watch the 4th season just to see, but I certainly I've lost all enthusiasm for this show at this point. Just all of it. It's gone. It's drained. Episode 5 did it. That was the stake in the heart, the straw that broke the camel's back. That was it. That was just such an amateur production. And I think what made it worse is that it really felt like they thought they were being so clever. Oh, we're just dropping these clues and all these twists and turns and these flash forwards and then the big twist at the end and the coup, and it's like, no, you're just all these characters just look stupid now because we all saw it coming, or at least I did, and it was obvious that Stregobor was not the one. I mean, it was just they just shoved that in your face so hard that it was so obvious that he was not the one. So, anyways, there's probably lots more I could rant about in this season, but I'm not gonna. What's the point? I wish it had been better. If the last 3 episodes are great. I don't think they will be. Forgive all my mispronunciations of names, and I know I just forgot some because I mix up different shows and characters in my head. But this is what you get when you just speak off the cuff, And I know. Maybe I should have long video essays or something on this channel, but that's not what I do. And, what can I say? Let me know what you thought of Season 3, Part 1 down in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you're feeling truly generous, hit that notification bell down there. And I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Peace.